Hey there, Cosmic Warriors, and welcome back to another video. And if you are new here, my name is Hannah. I am a Western Practical Astrologer. And in today's video, we're going to be talking all about this upcoming Cancer season. I'm quite early. I am. Reason being, it's actually going to be my partner's birthday, and we're going to be doing something nice for his birthday. And yeah, just to get this up early and then we can enjoy. Okay, so Cancer season 2024. Just want to start off by saying as well with this, we are in the middle of Gemini season. Happy birthday to all you Gemini out there, you solar Gemini, and happy birthday to all of you Cancerians out there. Of course, probably going to be, you're probably going to watch this a little bit closer to Cancer season. So anyway, happy birthday, Cancer. I hope you have the best birthday. Yes, Cancer season 2024. Let's do this. Right, so just to let you know that there are some astrology products available. If you want to book a reading with me, you can visit my website, hannahselsewhere.com. Okay, there you can find my products. And I do want to say thank you so much to my patrons over at Patreon for all of your support. And if you do want early access to new videos ad-free, you can join the Patreon. There's actually a video over there available. And yeah, and then also PDF guides to go right along with those early videos. So here we see some important dates. Cancer season is going to be from the 20th of June. And for those of you who missed it, yes, I'm doing this a little bit earlier. Yeah, it's a bit early, but yeah, so Cancer season begins 20th of June, and then we've got an interesting month, interesting Cancer season. Reason being, we have 2 full moons in Capricorn. We have the first, this is a live video. Hi, Helena, welcome to you. This is a live. Welcome. We've got the first full moon in Capricorn, which will be at 1 degree. Then we have another full moon closing Cancer season at 29 degrees. So the sun will be in Cancer at 29 degrees, and then the moon will be in Capricorn at 29 degrees. So we have this opening of a full moon in Capricorn, and we have a closing of a full moon in Capricorn. Isn't that quite fascinating? And then we have right in the middle, we have the new moon in Cancer happening on the 5th of July. So I would even suggest really look to your Capricorn house, okay? Here's the other thing about it. Hi, hello, Scotty, welcome to you. Hi. Here's the other thing about it, okay? With the full moon, right? That second full moon on the 21st of July, 29 degrees. What are we going to experience? We're going to experience Pluto retrograde happening in Capricorn from September for a couple of months. So Pluto is going to return to that degree in your chart. So look at this as, oh, there's some grand finales coming up. There is a lot of purging. There's a lot of releasing. There's so much to do with letting go. So with that being said, as always, I do make videos, individual separate videos for each of the moon cycles. So we will talk more about what I just said in that full moon in Capricorn video when it comes out. But I just want to mention, the importance of these full moons. We have 2 full moons. Plus, just one more thing before we move on. That second full moon, it's going to be void of course. So that is something to keep in mind. Again, there will be separate videos about the full moons in Capricorn and then also that new moon in Cancer. Now, we also have some retrogrades happening. Oh, more retrogrades to join the party, to join Pluto. So we've got Saturn and Neptune just a few days apart, turning retrograde in where? Pisces. So we're going to explore that a little bit today. Plus, we have Mercury entering Leo. We've got Venus entering Leo. And then we have Pallas direct in Scorpio. And Mars will enter Gemini. So those are just a few shifts. It's kind of funny because we haven't even gotten to Mercury in Cancer yet or Venus in Cancer yet. But yes, this is an early video. It's an early one. But we're gonna explore your horoscopes, just taking into consideration all those moving parts. So those are just a few important dates. And I'm just going to pause for a second to welcome everyone. Helena, you said you love the channel. Oh, awesome. You say it's the first time catching me live. Well, welcome to you, Helena. I hope you're having a great day. Hello to Anne-Marie. Hi. You say you've got a Cancer Sun and an Aquarius moon. Nice. How do you contact me for a reading? Well, you can visit my website, hannahselsewhere.com. It's all set up there on my services. And the information, how to book and everything is available on my website. So yeah, it's hannahselsewhere.com. Look forward to hearing from you, Anne-Marie. Thank you. And oh, and also, Anne-Marie, it's going to be your birthday soon. So happy birthday to you. It's coming up. Ernest, hello. You say you're on time now. Well, I'm glad. And hello to Eleanor from Denmark. Nice, welcome. Is it Copenhagen that's in Denmark? I would love to visit there. But welcome to you. And DRNLL, hi, welcome. Thanks for being here. And then Scotty, you say you've got Saturn in Aquarius at 29 degrees. Ooh, okay, thank you for sharing. Right, what I like to do then for these seasonal videos is I like to think about the season itself, because the thing about this is it takes into consideration the sun. So where is the sun? The sun will then enter Cancer on the 20th of June. So during Cancer season, what we do is we go from exploring new options, right, with Gemini season, to nurturing ourselves and others, protecting ourselves. It's so much about emotional security, but then there's also so much vulnerability in this, right? There's that vulnerability, there's the support, there's the care. You may really feel like, you want to be close to loved ones, whether this be family, whether this be your friends, whether this be your pet, right? There's just that nurturing feeling in the air during Cancer season. And then it's also likely that we can be extra emotional, or, think about even where the moon is, because the moon is going to be the dispositor of the sun. And then the moon is so quick, it's so fast. So you may find that your moods can fluctuate a bit quicker. You could go through these highs and lows. So yes, the emotional energy will very much be present during Cancer season. Then we also go from being flexible and versatile during Gemini season to more protective, more tenacious. There's this holding energy. There's this firm grip to Cancer. Think about that crab. It's like, this is mine. Holding really, really tightly onto something, onto a person, onto a job, a situation, whatever it may be, a product. So do keep that in mind. We go from this kind of more flexible, adaptable, easy breezy, lighthearted Gemini to more, no, but this is how I feel. This matters to me. You need to understand that about me. It matters to me, right? This is how I feel. Then we also go from shining a light on our mental stimulation and curiosity, right? Again, that Gemini, to this emotional security and home life. Then we just want to explore then a couple of aspects. By the way, when it comes to aspects in astrology, over on the Patreon, I talk about the aspects more with the daily forecasts. The daily forecasts are great because you're going to get a sense of what is the energy of the day. So I just wanted to include those so you can follow along. You can look it up for yourself. You can look into it. But basically, the sun will trine Saturn, right? Saturn is in Pisces. The sun will also sextile Mars. Mars will be in Taurus. And also Juno. Juno will be in Virgo. That could be actually a really interesting one, that combination, because I suppose Mars would also make that trine to Juno. So there could be some pleasing energies, to do with relationships, feeling secure, feeling supported within relationships. Marriage stuff could very well come up. And then we have Sun square the nodes and Chiron. That may be more of a tender one, let's just say, right? There could be more soft spots. There could be greater triggers around that time. We're actually going to be coming up to how Venus will also, right? So Venus and Mercury will make those squares to Chiron and the nodes, right? With the nodes, we kind of experienced similar energies last year, but there is this leadership quality in the air because the nodes are in two cardinal signs, Aries and Libra. But yeah, it can even feel like you're at a bit of a crossroads this Cancer season, right? It's like, which way's which? Where do I go from here? But these matters then relate to leadership, relate to your direction, what you want, where you're headed. And then Sun will also oppose Ceres retrograde during Cancer season. Of course, Ceres holds this nurturing quality to it as well. And then with it being in Capricorn, there could be some type of resistance there. There could be a bit of tension or struggle related to certain attachments that we have, attachments to success, attachments to achievement. But hey, this is also welcoming some healing in energy within all of this, some supportive energy. It's like, is it worth it? It's this influence of, is that attachment that you have, is it worth it? Where's that coming from? There could be some inner exploration that can be really useful to us too. Maybe even feelings of inadequacy, insecurities, these things could come up, fears could come up with Ceres and Capricorn, and then Sun and Cancer kind of shines a light on it and says, hey, I've got you, I'm here for you. So just wanted to touch on those aspects. Again, we talk about the aspects over at Patreon. Helena, you say you are tuning in from Michigan, USA. Nice. And then Eleanor, you say, yes, Copenhagen is here. Of course, thank you for being here. Okay, so retrograde movements. We're going to try and keep this short and sweet. Short and sweet. Saturn retrograde in Pisces. So the Saturn retrograde is going to start from the 29th of June. It's going to be all the way until the 15th of November. Here's the degrees for you. 19 degrees to 12 degrees. Look to your Pisces house, right? Any planets in Pisces around those degrees, because you're going to have an opportunity to review where you are in terms of what you've been building, the structure that's been happening, the foundation that's been happening there that you've been building within your Pisces house over the past year or so. Even specifically thinking about the pre-shadow period, so since the 23rd of March. So that's going to be, a particularly important time to think about. So you can maybe reflect upon, okay, what have you been building on since the 23rd of March? Because you're going to have an opportunity to revisit those matters. This could be stuff to do with your spirituality, spiritual practices. I'll give you an example just to talk from my own experience, because that's a good way to kind of help you make sense of what I'm saying. For me, I want to try and make more time for prayer in my life. So that could be something that I maybe put into effect, or I revisit a little bit to see, okay, well, how can I restructure that? How can I discipline myself a little bit more to make more time for spiritual practices such as prayer, meditation, those types of things. So yes, look to your Pisces house from that 19 to 12 degree point. Plus Neptune retrograde. So Neptune retrograde is going to happen from the 2nd of July until the 7th of December. So that's going to be from the 29th degree to the 27th degree. It's an interesting thing to think about because Neptune has been there in that 29th degree for a little while, sort of poking a little bit like, we're nearly there. We've nearly crossed the threshold into Aries, but we're not quite there. Actually, you know what? We're going to go back. Of course, we're not actually going back. You know what I mean? It's an optical illusion. But we're still going to get you revisiting a few matters. What are retrogrades about? Retrogrades are just about, okay, I recognize that I've traveled somewhat, okay? Imagine it like you've traveled along your journey. Dorothy's going down the yellow brick road. She's been traveling a good while. And then she realizes, do you know what? I really need to take my time and think about where I've already been before I continue on. Because by recognizing where I have already been, I have an opportunity to learn new lessons, to integrate new lessons, and then I can carry them forward for the rest of my trip. Or even you can imagine it like, Dorothy's being dragged back. Maybe out of her, it's not really something that she freely does. She's being dragged back and you're like, oh my gosh, So there could be some spiritual things to readdress. This is what the Neptune retrograde in Pisces, I feel, will be about. But here's the thing about it too. It's so relevant because Neptune will be entering Aries soon. It will be entering Aries in 2025 for a little bit, and then officially during 2026. So this is an opportunity for us to do some reflection, to think about, okay, what about the spiritual stuff? What about my emotions? How can I emotionally sort of navigate through this? But then also, perhaps this stuff, it's a bit murky, it's a bit confusing. Of course, Pisces can be highly mysterious. It's connected to the collective unconscious. Neptune within itself is a generational planet. So there could be a lot going on for us collectively within the unconscious. Pain, suffering, distress, depression, these things. Difficult stuff, honestly. Difficult stuff to look at. The shadow of the collective, the healing of the emotional body, the emotional self. Very, very difficult. But it can also be a good opportunity for us to maybe grasp, okay, what about my imagination? What about my creativity? How am I being led that way? So just keep that in mind during the Neptune retrograde. So that's going to be, as I say, in Pisces. Okay, lastly, Pallas turns direct. Whoa! Pallas turns direct in Scorpio from the 9th of July from 19 degrees, right? So we had Pallas moving into Sagittarius more at the beginning of the year. And then it turned retrograde and then went back into Scorpio. And many of us, I know for me, speaking from experience, I've been revisiting the heavier stuff, but also there has been a lot of healing in that. Very therapeutic. Looking at certain healing methods to do with loss, grief, death, endings, these things. But then this is the opportunity with the directness of Pallas too. What do with Scorpio? We become reborn. There's a transformation. But we can also integrate, allowing those, the lessons to do with Scorpio to integrate. Then Pallas within itself is so much about, particular healing strategies, or thinking about as well that strategic thinking, that creative visualization that we have. We could even draw from things that are more sort of painful and miserable and sad, and the loss and the grief stuff to do with Scorpio. We can draw from those things as inspiration, right? When you look at a particular piece of art and you can tell that the artists from that, they've seen things, right? They have seen things, and it's so beautifully sort of seen and shown through their art. You can see the pain through their art. So yeah, art can be a great way to release our emotions, essentially. Yeah. So with that water, Cancer, it's going to be Cancer season, water. The retrogrades in Pisces, water. The directness of Pallas, water. Scorpio, look to those water houses in your chart, or the water signs, the water houses in your chart, and think about, oh my gosh, the amount of emotional release that's going to come throughout Cancer season for you. So here are some significant major aspects. Again, I just want to mention about this that you can find more information about these aspects on the Patreon. I talk about the aspects, I talk about the energies of the day. So we have the 20th of June, so beginning of Cancer season, right until the end of June. We've got the Cancer stellium, which will involve Mercury, Venus, and the Sun. Then we have some influences there to Taurus, Aries, Pisces. Then we have the 1st of July until the 7th of July. We've got Venus in Cancer will square Chiron. Mercury will enter Taurus and will oppose Pluto retrograde. And then we also see how coming into the 8th to the 14th, Mercury will trine the North Node and sextile Jupiter. Oh, that energy could be quite a uplifting influence, I think. There could be much to be said about knowledge and about that creativity that we pour into our knowledge, and how such matters will even be linked to our destiny. Even Mercury in Leo opposite Pluto retrograde plus Venus will follow suit. You know, these energies opposing Pluto retrograde can be a good opportunity for us to, you know, peek in, to look into the ego, to identify, you know, what is it about our ego that, you know, maybe is keeping us back a bit, or how can we reawaken something about the ego, or how can we even pierce into our heart, like have a good hard look at, you know, what the heart is saying. Oh, it's going to be I think a good time to look at, okay, how much do you love yourself? It's that self-love piece, and looking at the shadows and the unconscious to do with that. And, you know, which types of unconscious things can you welcome out, can you bring out and say, hey, you know, this is me, this is who I am, I love who I am. Yeah, good time for music, art, creativity, these things. Then naturally, we also notice how Venus will trine Neptune. Oh, again, further adding to what I just said, but in a very poetic way, in a very sweet, beautiful way. Sun will also square Chiron, of course. And then we come to the final week and Mars will conjunct Uranus. So we have a beginning of a new cycle, right? This new cycle within our Taurus house to do with innovation, right? How we innovate in terms of our energy levels, in terms of how we assert ourselves. There could be this breakthrough, this shock factor even within our Taurus house. And keep in mind that we're not, you know, it wasn't too long ago that we were in the depths of all the Taurus stuff with the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction during Taurus season and everything else, you know. So Mars, I feel, reaching this point is just adding more to the story that's already unfolding within our Taurus house. So do think about, you know, resources, your finances, your income, this type of stuff, your physical security. And then lastly, we have Venus trine North Node, sextile Jupiter closing. Yeah, so those are just some aspects. I don't want to keep you too long. I just want to, you know what we're going to do? We are trying a different approach with these videos, and we're just going to dive right in and we're going to do the horoscopes, everyone. Yes, I wanted to change it up because I just felt like, you know what you're here for. I know what you're here for. You're here for your horoscopes, right? You're here for that. So let's keep it short and sweet and concise and then get to it. We're going to go through your horoscopes. Thank you so much for being here, everyone. And Helena, thank you so much. That was very kind of you. And I hope my sound is okay. It keeps doing weird things. I hope I sound okay. Let me know if my sound dips in and out or whatever. I hope it's okay. Right. Oh, Scotty, you say you've got a Virgo rising. Nice, nice. Okay, so Aries. Aries, Cancer season for you. By the way, when it comes to the moon, the moon has its own video. So we'll talk about the full moons in Capricorn, and we will talk about the new moon in Cancer in their own videos. But for you, Aries, the full moons in Capricorn will happen in your 10th house. So there's a lot of releasing and letting go to do with career, to do with your long-term goals. And then there are new intentions to do with family and home and emotional security. So I just wanted to say that to begin. Right, so we have here from the 20th of June, so beginning of Cancer season, all the way up until the end of June, we have this stellium in Cancer. We've got the Sun, Mercury, and Venus all in your 4th house. So there is a light shining, Aries, on the emotional world for you, your private life. Maybe many of you Aries want to just stay at home for a little bit longer or more than usual, or you prefer to just keep things to yourself, right? There's a greater desire to want to just separate, to go into a bit of a hiding mode. Or it could be that you feel this stronger desire to want to relate to your loved ones. Again, this could be family. This could also be related to friends. It's just anyone that you love, anyone that, you have this support with or to. And think about your children. Think about, yes, okay, your parents, your lover, whatever have you. I think this energy says you'll want to feel close. And you may even spend more quality time with them. This is a desire of yours. This is something that you're going to find to be quite attractive, if anything. And then also quite appealing, really. But then also with Mercury, there could be greater conversation there happening with family and loved ones, maybe making more plans together. Or this could even be conversations about the property stuff, about housing stuff, your home, furniture, any decoration you want to do. You may feel this urge even to want to redecorate or to change things within your home, or you may feel this desire to want to start saving for house stuff, right? But yes, there's going to be a great focus then on that of your family and your home. Especially thinking about how safe you feel, how safe and supported and cared for you feel whenever you are together. Emotions could be high, could be heightened. But hey, this could also be, emotionally, it's like you can open up, or you may want to feel closer. You may be more vulnerable. These things, maybe having those discussions with certain family members that you didn't say before. You could be diving into the past. You could be particularly nostalgic, very sentimental during this time period. And that could be in a beneficial way, but it could maybe even be in a challenging way, of course, okay? So that's more coming into Cancer season, ending June, toward the end of June. But then we come to the end of June, right? We have Saturn turning retrograde and Neptune turning retrograde. Saturn will turn retrograde on the 29th of June. The Neptune will turn retrograde on the 2nd of July. So coming into the first week of July until the 7th, with these retrogrades happening, this is going to occur within your 12th house. Yeah. I feel as if this energy, it further kind of adds to what I was previously saying. Maybe for you, Aries, there is a type of revisiting, right? Revisiting rest, revisiting relaxation, revisiting who you are whenever you're alone. Maybe wanting to isolate a little bit. I would say that. There could be something about wanting to isolate, wanting to be on your own. So yeah, it's like there could be a lot of family stuff happening, but maybe a big part of you actually wants to take it a step back. Or it could be that there's more coming up for you. There's more coming up to the surface to do with your dreams, your visions, possibly looking at more of that desire to retreat or focus on your own healing. Spiritual practice stuff could very well come up. So to me, it's just this, okay, there's more to look at, isn't there? I gotta dive deeper into my psyche here. And that can be really purifying. But hey, it could also be quite difficult with Saturn. If anything, I'm going to say, just be kind to yourself, Aries. Be kind to yourself. Be gentle with yourself. Plus, here's the thing. Whilst this is happening with the retrogrades at the same time, so the same week, 1st of July, 7th of July, Venus will square Chiron. So that Venus in Cancer will square Chiron in your sign. Self-worth healing. But it's seeing how this self-worth stuff is so embedded. It's so related to the past. It's connected to your own conditioning. But like with you, Aries, this is the thing that I admire about you. You have this attitude of, I can step up to that challenge. With Chiron in your first house, you have been doing a lot of that work, that identity work, the leadership stuff. It's been coming up, and it's like, right, no, I can do this. North Node is also there. Got this. I know that perhaps it has been challenging for you in terms of you just want to move forward. You just want your goals to occur, right? You want to succeed, right? You want to win. You want to get to that point. But maybe you've been feeling this, right? Especially with maybe Saturn being there in this position, or maybe because Mars has been in your sign and it conjunct Chiron recently. It's still, there in your sign, and Mars will enter Taurus on the 9th of June. But yeah, it's just this stop and start energy. This is what I'm getting. It's like stop, start, stop, start. But here's something I want to mention about this. Actually, no, before we do get onto that, actually, before we move into Mars, the other thing with that week is Mercury will enter Leo on the 2nd of July and will oppose Pluto retrograde and will sextile Jupiter. So that influence then could be quite an awakening thing, like a sense of renewal there, creativity renewals, transformations, especially triggered via groups, via communities. So there is that. And then also with Jupiter in the 3rd, there could be a greater support, basically, maybe from siblings, maybe from neighbors, or you feeling a stronger desire to want to roam, want to move, right? There's that greater movement or that greater vision that you have to inspire the world, to maybe, bring truth, bring knowledge, bring wisdom to the collective in this way. Helena, thank you so much. That is very, very kind of you. I appreciate it. Thank you so, so, so much. Okay, so moving on to the next week, we've got from the 8th until the 14th of July, we have Venus then entering Leo on the 11th, again opposing Pluto retrograde, and then eventually, so opposing Pluto retrograde, and then eventually the week after will sextile Jupiter. But anyway, with that influence, I think there is something about, again, it's more of the creativity, inner child stuff coming up. But instead of it just being about intellectually trying to process it with Mercury, maybe there's also something about, okay, do I actually feel worthy? I think it can be exciting, actually, to have both Mercury and Venus entering Leo. So that can suggest fun, play, spontaneity. So we have all of the emotionally heavy stuff the first the first week and a bit. But then as Mercury and Venus start to move coming into July, maybe you're feeling more like free, or you just want to have fun, you want to seek pleasure. There's that greater aliveness, that greater spark that you have, okay? Hi, Jasmina, welcome. Hope you're doing good. Welcome. So, yeah. And let's see as well, coming into the final week, let's go with the final week. So we've got the 15th of July for the rest of Cancer season. Mars will conjunct Uranus in Taurus, and then we'll enter Gemini on the 20th of July. So closing off Cancer season. Right. So Mars, keep in mind, is your chart ruler. So Cancer season will welcome some type of realization, an epiphany. Oh my gosh, how did I not see that before? Aha! When it comes to how you earn money, possibly. And here's the thing, with Mars traveling through Taurus throughout pretty much all of Cancer season, this is going to be a good opportunity for you to slow down a lot, for you to really slow down and take your time and just think about, right, okay, what is the plan here? How can I be thorough here? Especially just being a bit more rational, rational, trying not to be super impulsive instead of just like rushing into things so quickly. Taurus can be really useful to you in this way when it comes to your earnings. And then with the conjunction to Uranus, so again, coming toward the end of Cancer season, that conjunction to Uranus could be that kind of that buzz, that electrifying rush of energy of like, oh my gosh, like there was so much stagnation throughout Taurus season and everything, and now I'm feeling a lot more like alive. And then Mars will enter Gemini at the end, so the 20th of July. And of course, closing Cancer season, then eventually Mars will start to conjunct Jupiter. But then this is like, okay, I have the resources I need. I have the tools I need. My money's looking good again. I'm feeling a lot more on track again. Right. Time to get out there and use my voice to, to get new ideas, to network, to socialize. There's that greater push, that enthusiasm. Yeah, mix that in with the sextiles between Venus and Mercury to Jupiter. I feel like a lot of Aries, you're getting your spark. You're getting your spark back. It was never gone, I guess. It was never gone. It never really goes. But you can experience those moments, Aries, where you're just like, I'm so fed up. I just need to move. I need to move now. But you will get there. I just think, yeah, Cancer season for you can be very healing. But just keep in mind, you gotta ride those emotional waves. You can't deny them. You can't deny them or rush through them. They will catch up on you eventually if you try to deny or repress or rush through. Anyway, right, so let's move on to Taurus now. I will try and make this one a lot quicker for you, Taurus. Oh dear, okay. Taurus, right, Cancer season for you. Let's begin by thinking about, there will be 2 full moons in your 9th house, and then there will be the new moon in your 3rd. This Cancer season, there will be releasing. There will be reaping rewards to do with things like higher education, advanced training, your belief systems. And then there will also be new seeds being planted when it comes to your local area, right? When it comes to sibling matters, neighborhood matters, stuff like this. Learning new subjects, yeah, these things. So planting those seeds. Right, so beginning Cancer season until the end of June, we have this Cancer stellium in your 3rd house. So Taurus, there may be many emotional discussions coming up, calling you, asking you to be receptive, to be open, to listen. Now I'm saying this with love, right? I'm saying this with love. When there is resistance in any way, when maybe there's a lack of agreement, you can be quite strong in your own view and you may not want to listen. So this can look like you not really wanting to listen so much to things that, your family says, your cousin says, your sister, this type of stuff. Plus, I mean, we got to think about how Mercury and Venus will eventually enter Leo throughout Cancer season. So safe to say, just a lot of family stuff here, maybe family drama. Just honestly speaking, there could be a lot of family drama. It could be this case of people just want attention, or they're pushing to be heard, and maybe you feel like you're being drowned out, or maybe you really want to be heard and people are not listening to you. So there's that. Okay. And what I also want to mention is that this could look like you having a particular conversation with your mother, perhaps, right? With your mother about your own emotional security, about your own emotional needs. And maybe that can even open up a conversation. Maybe there could be some type of resolve, or there could be some type of, okay, there's healing there. Or this could be a matter of maybe certain Taurus out there, you are eager to learn something new. You may want to learn how to drive. You may want to learn a whole new subject. Of course, with us being in Gemini season right now, there's a lot going on for you when it comes to your work, right? The job that you have, the money that you're making. Maybe as we start to come into Cancer season, you may see, okay, yes, these are my streams of income. This is where I am financially, but you know what? I really want to learn more, right? I want to take on a new subject of some kind. So this could be a good opportunity to do that. You could even be referred, right? There could be some type of invitation. There could be some type of passing on of information from family members to you. And you're like, oh, I didn't know that, right? It's that passing along of the hearsay, really. And then that curiosity. There is like greater curiosity on your part. Keep in mind as well so when we come to the first week of July, so we go from the 1st of July until the 7th of July, we have Mercury entering Leo. So that's going to be on the 2nd of July. So coming into that week, there's also going to be that, okay, right, what's going on with family? How can we celebrate? How can we, hey, do you know what? This can even be a matter of you literally celebrating, a family situation. And then you feel like, hey, yeah, we can rejoice. We can get along here. But to be honest, I just feel like this energy, it's that the way things are lined up, I think, for you, Taurus, it's just a bit more challenging. It could just be disagreements about who does what in the house. It could be something small, but it could be blown way out of proportion. You may even feel like your cup is full. You can feel like, there's just so much going on with me. There's too much going on. Yeah. So just maybe be mindful a little bit this Cancer season. Try and not get involved in the gossip, in the drama of it all, people's emotions getting heightened for things that you don't really know much about. Yeah. So I just feel like I've observed that basically, and that could be something that could come up. Okay, so what I also want to mention, coming into the first week of July, right? So the end of June, first week of July, Saturn and Neptune will turn retrograde. So this is going to happen in your 11th house. Right, okay. So we see another layer of community, groups, teamwork, organizations. Hey, this conversation stuff, this communication stuff, maybe it's even strongly linked to that of the group, right? So yeah, and even with Mercury opposing Pluto retrograde coming into that first week of July, just don't get involved, Taurus. You are more than that. You're more than that. Just keep on doing your own thing, right? With Mars in your sign as well throughout most of Cancer season, pretty much the entire season. I mean, really, just keep on focusing on your motivations, your goals, your aims, and just go, I don't need to get involved in all that. That's their stuff. It's their own emotional stuff. Yes. But hey, this could also be some major breakthroughs for you when it comes to managers and employers. You know what? You could very well be getting that raise. You could be the one who's getting that recognition and that applause, and then your family want to celebrate with you. But then you also recognize the people who don't want to celebrate with you, and you're like, then no, why would I give you my energy then? Right? There's just something here about the truth being revealed, people showing their real colors. It's like you're on this up, right? You're going up. You're elevating. You're succeeding. It's this type of stuff. You're growing. And then you can notice people who want to try and tear you down, who want to say this and that about you, spread rumors, gossip, whatever. But you, I think, can go, I'm doing me. Okay? I'm doing me. And then we come even to, so we've got the final week. So I'll just, you know what, we're just going with the flow a little bit. Let's just do that. The final week, so from the 15th of July for the rest of Cancer season, right? Mars will conjunct Uranus for you and then will enter Gemini. So there is something, like oh my gosh, like I can't believe it. I can't believe this is happening. Of course, there could be some challenge in this too with Mars. There could be something about emergencies, accidents, an urgent situation where you're like, what do I do here? But maybe it's also about a turn, like a turn of events. There could be a change, some adjustment that actually opens you up to a whole new way of thinking, a whole new way of seeing the world, right? And you've been going through this continuously over the past few years. Maybe, Taurus, to be quite honest with you, you just want to catch a break and you're like, can I just have my stability back, please? Can I just be comfortable again? Like, it's just this Uranus stuff. It's got me left to right. And I'm just like, I don't know. But it's also exciting, right? It's also exciting. Still, as Mars does enter your second house coming into the end, so toward the end of Cancer season, that I feel is going to be like this, right? It is time, right? It's time to step up within this financial setting. It's time to be a leader when it comes to my earnings. I've got this, right? I know what I'm doing. Yeah. Courageous, brave leadership. Okay, so moving on to Gemini. Gemini. Right. Okay, so for you, Gemini, you have the full moons in Capricorn happening in your 8th, and then we have the new moon happening in the 2nd. So there's a lot of releasing during Cancer season to do with things like debt, loss, right? Think of it like this. You could very well clear a lot of debt, especially with 2 full moons happening in Capricorn. And that could be actually very freeing, possibly. Or there could be releasing to do with your inner world, right? The heavier stuff, the shadow stuff. Then we notice here too, planting new seeds when it comes to your earnings, your materials and resources with the Cancer in the 2nd. Ooh, yes. Right, so this then leads us on to how from the beginning of Cancer season until the end of June, we've got this Cancer stellium in your 2nd house. This is where I'm going with this. This is what I think about. Gemini, you value that attachment, right? To feel like, you know what, I have enough. And that is so related to your own emotional needs and your own emotional security. And you may also really value certain family, qualities. There could be certain, core values that you hold related to family, thinking about tradition and keeping traditions alive and stuff like this. So I would say that with the stellium in the 2nd house, perhaps there will be this greater focus, right, with the sun there, sort of shining a light on that emotional connection that you have there, and how that emotional connection is so dependent upon like feeling that you're being provided for or feeling that you have enough, but then also thinking about your own self-worth. You can be quite protective of your self-worth. And I think as well, you value empathy, right? You value how empathetic you can be, you value how supportive you can be, how caring you can be. So these themes, I think, could very well be highlighted, especially as Mercury, which is your chart ruler, as Mercury is in Cancer there and coming into Cancer season. Perhaps even just having certain discussions about the materials and resources that you own and how that is even related to family. So yeah, there could be significant conversations to be had with family members about your well-being, about your security. Right, so coming then toward the end of June here, so we look at how Saturn is going to turn retrograde on the 29th of June, and then Neptune is going to turn retrograde on the 2nd of July in Pisces. Okay, this is happening in your 10th. It's interesting to see the stellium with Cancer, and then, of course, the other there's that trine influence to Pisces. So for you, Gemini, a lot of this stuff, the revisiting, the taking a step back, the reassessing stuff to do with retrogrades, that is related to your career, your professional life, your long-term goals, success, what you're building. And maybe it will require of you some real spiritual maturity or gaining spiritual insight. But yes, we're going to see then how you will take another look at this stuff to see even if things fit in with, where you're headed. Are you on the right track, basically? Are you following the life path that you seek, you desire? Do you feel like what you're doing is purposeful, it's meaningful? Is it consistent? Is it reliable? Just asking yourself those important questions, maybe even to do with longevity, the longevity of your career, the structure, the stability of your career. Yeah. But then also thinking about the creative process in Pisces it's been quite a beautiful thing in a way for you, Gemini, to be able to explore your imagination and to be able to bring that out into a professional setting, to lose yourself even within that a little bit. But like anything Neptune, there could be some smokes and mirrors, so do be cautious. Okay, so we have, I'm trying to be a little bit more structured with this one. We have the first week of July until the 7th. Right. Mercury will enter Leo on the 2nd of July, and then will, of course, oppose Pluto retrograde. So this will be between your 3rd house and your 9th house. Ooh, okay. So perhaps this is looking at how you're seen within conversations, how you're seen intellectually, but also thinking about how you could very well be pushed. It's like forced to kind of see something, to change. Maybe there could be a particular worldview that changes your perspective. There could be a new belief system, or there could be the sort of reassessment of a belief system and how those matters are even related to communities or groups or teams, what have you. Or this could even be like big innovative ideas that come through for you, which could be really quite exciting. Could be exciting. Of course, Mercury again is your chart ruler. But hey, could also be the power plays, power struggles, stuff like this, when it comes to the Pluto opposition. So there is that, how those power struggles could also possibly play out with certain siblings or cousins. Old friends, school friends, peers, these areas. Yes, but maybe this stuff, the conversations, the disagreements, the friction could give you an opportunity to go through a renewal, right? And an intellectual renewal, a belief renewal. Okay, so we have from the 8th of July until the 14th of July, Venus will enter Leo on the 11th. So again, with the opposition to Pluto. So here we go again with another one. It's like there is the communication piece, firstly with Mercury, but then there's also going to be that self-worth piece. Many of us could very well be gaining lessons about our self-love. Self-love becomes quite significant. It further on from this, right? Think about it like this. Pluto is going to be in Aquarius for the next 20 years or so. Yes, there's the dip back into Capricorn, whatever. But anything that enters Leo then for the next 20 years, we're going to be presented with, our shadow to do with self-love. And maybe many of us will experience like self-love upgrades, self-love renewals, confidence renewals. It's this type of energy that says, I am who I am, take me or leave me. I love who I am. I don't need to prove myself to you. So for you, Gemini, coming into Cancer season, right? We were saying there that the 11th of July is when Venus will enter Leo. There could be more of this stuff coming up that I mentioned. Maybe even think about just having more fun or wanting to be a bit more spontaneous in conversations. And, maybe it's Pluto in a way that forces you to look at the shadow part of you that wants to embrace that, that wants to embrace more of that. Okay, and then we have from the 15th of July for the rest of Cancer season, right? So we have Mars will conjunct Uranus in Taurus. So just keep in mind that throughout Cancer season, Mars will be traveling through Taurus. That's going to happen in your 12th house. So with Mars entering Taurus from the 9th of June, all the way up until the 20th of July, so pretty much throughout most of Cancer season, and a good bit of Gemini season too, but it's important then, I think, for you, Gemini, to get some type of grasp of, what are your energy levels like? Can you keep up the momentum? When it comes to certain things that you're doing, can you keep up that consistency? There's a lot of reflection here to do with consistency. What kind of structures and systems do you have in place there? And how can those things kind of connect in with, okay, your physical body, your physical energy? Maybe this is even looking at, okay, time to rest a bit more, time to slow down a bit more, to take it easy for many Gemini. And then with the conjunction to Uranus, so that could be like a bit of a wake-up call, maybe, right? A bit of a wake-up call, a bit of a realization, which could be very healing. There could be some type of spiritual insight that comes up to do with your physical body, which again could be a good thing. And then, of course, Mars will enter your sign on the 20th of July. So closing Cancer season with Mars being in your sign, you may be feeling more alive, more like energetic, more like, yes, I can do this, I've got this, I'm going to go after my goals. Yeah, Cancer season can just be a good time for you to do more of that reflective stuff. This is what we find when it comes to Cancer, especially because the retrogrades are happening in Pisces at the same time during Cancer season. A lot of it is to do with reflection. A lot of it is to do with, okay, your emotional body, your emotional world, releasing a lot of that. And then perhaps coming into Leo season, this is where we're going to see more of this oomph, this greater fire influence. But of course, there will still be some of that present during Cancer season, which we have discussed as well. Okay, so Cancer. Let's see. Yes, Cancer. So it's your season. Happy birthday, Cancer. Hope you have a great birthday. So the full moon, there'll be 2 full moons in Capricorn throughout your season. Those full moons will happen in your 7th. So meaning releasing, letting go, reaping rewards to do with partnerships, relationships, long term, especially for the long term. Then we notice with the new moon in Cancer happening, that will be a good opportunity for you to plant new seeds. Planting new seeds for the future to do with your aims, your goals, what you want, your identity. This is where we move on to the beginning of Cancer season till the end of June. Stellium. There will be a stellium in Cancer in your sign. So there will be a great focus on self-healing, self-motivation, self-reflection. There's more of that gentleness present, protecting the self, trying to grasp, okay, what is it that I want with my life? What is it that I want when it comes to the next chapter? Even thinking about anything you want to start, anything new that you want to start. Because, hey, this is the first house. There is a new beginning influence to the first house. Maybe you're also going to be somewhat more attractive in a way, like you feel attractive, you feel like there's this glow about you and you feel good about yourself, right? With Venus there. Maybe people really want to work with you, right? There's greater collaborations, there's greater discussions, there's, a greater sense of togetherness in this way with people coming into Cancer season. Then we move on to the end of June, coming into July, Saturn retrograde on the 29th of June, Neptune retrograde on the 2nd of July in your 9th house. So these retrogrades are then going to highlight, okay, taking a step back, having a reassessment of your sort of worldviews. Your worldviews, the bigger picture, exploration, travel, you're out there in the world. What is it you want to do? Where are you headed? Right? It's all these sort of bigger questions, and even related to your meaning, your higher meaning, these bigger visions that you're having. So yes, there could be just a lot coming up about, okay, what are my aspirations? What do I want out of life? Where am I going? Right? All these questions. Then we come to the first week of July. So from the 1st of July until the 7th of July, right? So we've got Mercury entering Leo on the 2nd of July. That will then oppose Pluto retrograde in Aquarius. So Mercury will enter Leo in your 2nd house and will oppose Pluto in Aquarius in the 8th. That then will relate so much to, okay, my personal values, right? Your personal values, your personal worth, how, your personal worth and your personal values are so much about, confidence, self-assurance, knowing yourself. And then this stuff will also be related to that of the heavier things, right? The unconscious, the shadow. Maybe the shadow related to group fears, community fears. Maybe even thinking about shared resources, other people's money, debts, loss, this type of stuff could come up. There could be a trigger. There could be even an opportunity to grow through any fears, to overcome certain fears, or to have another look there. Maybe a lot of this stuff for you, Cancer, is about this kind of confidence upgrade, this self-assurance upgrade of knowing yourself, knowing your worth, right? And knowing how much you want to charge even for a service that you provide, for example. Knowing how much money that you want to make in terms of, okay, this is the role that I'm doing. And hey, this could also be an opportunity for you to really improve, I suppose, when it comes to your skills and your talents, but maybe it's the Pluto influence opposite that kind of comes along and forces you to make that change, forces you to go off in a different direction, or to even look within yourself and to think, hey, you know what? I can do this. I am more than capable right now, right? Even think about how those planets, they will start to trine the North Node, right? With Mercury and Venus being in Leo, right? They'll start to trine the North Node. So there's a lot then coming up for you to do with your career, your profession, how you're seen amongst the public, the reputation that you have. Okay. Now what I want to do is I want to look at the 8th of July until the 14th of July, which I just want to say, of course, I'm not going into every single aspect. It would take a long time, people. It really would. I tried to start off by doing it that way, and I'm like, too much. So we're just going to try and keep it a little bit more concise. But like I said, you can find aspects over on Patreon with the daily forecasts. I talk about them there. Right. The 8th of July until the 14th of July, the second week. Venus will enter Leo on the 11th. So do you know what? It's just adding more to what I just said. It's just more about, okay, the self-worth stuff is going to become very prominent. It's like, look at this, look at this, look at this. You're more than what you think. You're stronger than what you think. You've got this. Love yourself. It's so much about the self-love piece, I think, with Leo. Okay, the final week of July, then we have from the 15th until the rest of Cancer season, Mars. Let's explore Mars. So Mars is going to be in Taurus throughout Cancer season. And that's going to be traveling through your 11th house. Oh, so much activity with friends, networking, communities. Perhaps such communities are quite artistic or creative, or you feel a greater sense of ease and security, right? There's this belonging. You're able to slow down just to take it all in. Maybe there's some type of financial opportunity that's felt, or, it's more of an inner thing, like you feel good, you feel worthy. And then as Mars starts to conjunct Uranus here towards the end of Cancer season, we notice this shock factor. We notice this excitement, perhaps, a surprise, like a community surprise, a trip or an event or a public speaking situation, some type of recognition, because it's like, oh my gosh, that was so sudden. Yeah, you could be sort of knocked off your feet a little bit by just, oh, this feels good. Or it could be quite jarring. It could be that. Again, think about groups and communities there. Then Mars will, of course, enter Gemini on the 20th of July. So coming toward the end of Cancer season, I actually kind of like this for you in a way, because it's sort of saying that throughout your season, Cancer, there is going to be this high energy of, hey, we're together and there's things happening with loads of people and there's these opportunities and there's the work stuff and my aims and my goals and I'm out there in the world. But then Mars enters Gemini and it just gives you time to rest, right? You could come toward the end of Cancer season and you're like, I've never been that social in all my life. Hi, right? I thought I was introverted, and hey, maybe you still are. I'm obviously just joking with you, but there could be that feeling of like, right, seriously, I just need to rest right now because it's been a lot this month. It's been fun, but peace, okay? I need my beauty sleep, okay? Anyway. And then we get to Leo season, and it's like, no, the party's still going. Woo! Sorry, okay. Leo, let's move on to you. Oh, you have to have fun with these, don't you? You need to have fun. I hope that you are benefiting from your readings anyway. Thank you for being here. Okay, so we're moving on to Leo. Leo. Okay, so there's always at least one sign that has this in their chart, right? And what I mean by this is during Cancer season for you, Leo, it's like, let's just lay low, right? Let's just lay low and take it easy, especially at the beginning of Cancer season. Here's the thing. We have the 2 full moons happening in Capricorn. So much release, shedding old skin, possibly reaping rewards to do with work, to do with services, to do with your health. Okay, much change there, progress there, finalizations happening. But then we also notice with the new moon in Cancer happening, there will be the planting of new seeds to do with things like your spiritual practices, to do with things like symbolism and mythology and escapism, possibly retreating, these things. But then this leads us on to the fact that beginning of Cancer season, right? So from the beginning of Cancer season until the end of June, you have the stellium in the 12th. So that could be a good time period for you to, okay, I just need to get right with myself. I just need to recalibrate, or I need to think. I need to go within and make sense of these big feelings that I'm having. It could be quite an emotional time for many Leos with the sun being in Cancer, or it could be a good time of healing, right? It could be even therapeutic, maybe quite meditative. Yeah, meditative opportunities to pray, opportunities to give thanks, whatever relationship you have with God, if it is that you believe in God, there could be a greater connection there. And that feels very cleansing, very purifying. So again, it's that emotional security stuff to do with Cancer. And that's going to happen in the 12th, like I said. But then we notice, to add to this, well, we add further to this, because on the 29th of June, Saturn will turn retrograde. On the 2nd of July, Neptune will turn retrograde. In which house for you? The 8th. So it could be a heavy one for Leos. And this is not to say bad, by the way, right? It could just be emotionally heavy. It could be a time period of just a lot of releasing, a lot of purging. Just get the emotions out. Hey, you know what? Just have that moment of feeling sorry for yourself. I feel sorry for myself at least once a month. I'm playing with you, but no, for real, if it is that there's something and you're just like, I want to just sit here for a bit. I just want to, remove myself from the world and be on my own. That's okay, right? Give yourself that space and be kind to yourself, be loving to yourself too. And if it is, something that's a lot more serious, I do want to show sensitivity in this way as well. And even just say that if it is really difficult, and if it is that you feel like you need help but you don't know how to ask for that help, I get that can be hard. But hopefully there are people in your life who can support you through anything challenging. The challenges could be tied to grief, loss. There could be money issues, money worries, things like this could come up. So I want to say that. But yeah, overall, I would just say to be kind, right? To be kind to yourself, to nurture yourself. Then we have here the first week of July. We've got Mercury entering Leo on the 2nd. Then that's going to oppose Pluto on the 7th. Hey, with Mercury, and by the way, Venus will enter your sign as well on the 11th of July, so the week after. So those couple of weeks with Mercury and Venus coming into your sign opposing Pluto, maybe this is like a push, okay? A freeing push. Maybe there are certain people in your life who you feel that with, who feel like, you know what, being around them makes me realize that I'm not so alone. Being around them makes me recognize that it's okay to be weird, or it's okay to just be goofy, or to let my quirkiness out. Maybe this is also about that relationship renewal stuff, the friendship renewals, the feeling of belonging, the feeling of togetherness. Unity could be a big thing for you, but there could also be some resistance to it, right? There could be some type of resistance to the community stuff. But yet, with Venus and Mercury entering your sign, it is sort of saying, hey, the spotlight's on you. People see you. They do recognize you. They want to be around you. I just get the sense that for many Leos, they're going through, maybe especially during Cancer season, there could be an extra sensitive time. And maybe this is something that has been happening over a longer period of time because, Saturn's been in your 8th house for a while. And I'm just getting that maybe you would rather just push people away, this type of stuff. But I do also hope that, you have people in your life who you can talk to, who you can reach out to when you need, right? But what I'll also say about this influence with these planets entering your sign is, yeah, Venus especially, very attractive energy, very pleasing, magnetic. You could be feeling a lot more like alive and fun, and it's going to be your birthday soon, and maybe you do feel yourself just coming back to life a bit. And hey, maybe your friends or your partner or people, within your life, they are a big part of that, because it's like being around those people just feels like you're more energized. Or maybe it's recognizing which types of people don't make you feel very energized. Oh, it's like, who's just draining my energy? I don't want to be around them, right? So there could be some realizations there. Then we come to the final week of Cancer season, from the 15th of July for the rest of the season. Mars, of course, will be traveling through the 10th for you. Okay, hey, Leo, it's time to make things happen there when it comes to your career, when it comes to your profession. You're taking names, you're getting out there, you're making those moves. Professional stuff is coming up, and maybe you're feeling more secure, or more like, I have a greater sense of my direction here. I know what I want. I know what I'm worth. I know my value. I know what my priorities are. Promotions could be here, or being recognized. Success, succeeding. But then, of course, with Mars conjunct Uranus, more toward the end of Cancer season, there could be this like, oh, this unexpected news to do with your professional life. Maybe related to money, maybe related to earnings, right? There could be this surprising like, oh, I didn't realize people thought that about me. That's so nice. And then, hey, that could even come through a boss or a manager, whatever have you, okay? And then by the 20th of July, Mars will enter Gemini in your 11th house, which Jupiter is already there. So that could be a good push, a good push to get communicating, to get socializing, to get out there networking with people, to be around the, groups of people, and it's just chit chat. It doesn't have to be so serious. It's like, oh, right, okay, yeah, cool, you're into that, oh, me too, oh, nice. It's just more of that social, lighthearted energy coming toward the end of Cancer season, and then it will be your season, and Mars will still be there, and Jupiter will still be there. We'll talk more about that during your season. But yes, good luck, Leo. Thank you. Hello, Rachel. Welcome to you. Thanks for being here. And Walter, I am not accepting questions in this presentation, but thank you anyway for asking. Thanks for being here. And thank you for sharing your information, everyone. Ernest, you say you have a Taurus sun. Nice. I hope you had a lovely birthday then. It was Taurus season not too long ago. Right, so we're going to move on to Virgo now. Virgo. So, the 2 full moons in Capricorn will happen in your 5th house. So there will be releasing, shedding, reaping rewards to do with children, play, fun, entertainment. And there will also be planting new seeds to do with communities, friendships, togetherness, belonging. Honestly, gonna say this, I quite like this. I quite like this energy for you, Virgo. Right, so from the 20th of June to the end, so the beginning of Cancer season until the end of June, we have the stellium in your 11th house. Oh, yes, especially with the sun being there, a big spotlight is on that of the grip stuff, the community stuff. Being seen within your communities, but being seen as a nurturing figure, being seen as caring, being seen as supportive, and being liked for being so, right? Being liked for your supportive qualities, being liked for your receptive qualities, right? Being open to people, being kind, being thoughtful, possibly as well, being really nostalgic with friends is likely during this time period for you. going down memory lane. It's like, oh, we did this when we were kids and we did that. Oh, do you remember this? Right? There could also be this feeling of community, like you feel supported, right? You feel like you're just in this big warm community hug with other people, and it's lovely. I like this. I like this energy. Yeah, to feel like you belong, to feel like you're emotionally supported within your teams, within your groups. But you're also going to be tenacious. You're also going to be protective. It's like, no, don't take that away from me. Okay. End of June. Coming into July, we have Saturn turning retrograde on the 29th of June. We have Neptune turning retrograde on the 2nd of July, happening where? In your 7th house. So there could be some reassessing to do with, okay, relationship foundations, relationship structures, right? Good opportunity to just reassess what has been built so far when it comes to relationships, clients, customers, even the professional stuff, right? The business deals, these things, all the contracts and agreements to do with the 7th house. Of course, Neptune being there, it's like, oh my gosh, it's so confusing. It's like, what's real? I can't see. It's like, I can't see the results right now. It's so annoying. But you will just keep going. Keep going. Here's what I'm really coming to learn about Saturn and Neptune being in Pisces for all this time and this energy that we're all dealing with collectively. It is that there's just a lot happening behind the scenes that we don't see, right? We don't see how, collectively, energetically, things could be aligning for us in a really nice way, right? There could be a lot of pieces in the puzzle that we don't recognize. And those pieces are coming together and they are clicking into place. But because we don't see it, we're like, when's it gonna happen? Right? But this is where the trust comes in with Pisces. This is where just be patient. Be patient. Just because you can't see the beneficial stuff happening behind the scenes doesn't mean it's not there, right? So remember that for you, Virgo, especially for you, because this energy is in the opposite sign from you. So it really does feel like I can't freaking see, okay? Because it feels so out of touch. It's like, I can't reach that. I can't reach that. Why is it not happening? Just be patient, okay? But still, with the retrogrades, good opportunity to reassess these matters. Okay. 1st of July until the 7th of July, we have then that week Mercury entering Leo on the 2nd. Mercury will oppose Pluto retrograde, and then we come into the following week, so the 8th of July to the 14th of July, we have Venus entering Leo on the 11th, again opposing Pluto retrograde. So this is showing up in your 12th and 6th houses. So I'll say that with Mercury entering Leo from the 2nd of July, good opportunity to get really creative, like to play around with visions, ideas, messages, meaning, symbolism, that type of stuff. Inner child stuff always also comes into the equation, when it comes to Leo. The confidence stuff as well comes up. Again, we go back to self-love. We're especially going to notice the self-love piece as Venus enters Leo from the 11th of July for you. So that's going to happen in the 12th. So there's a lot going on for you on a deeper emotional level, on a spiritual level. But then I think as well, with the inner child stuff, have that space, have that time to tap into your imagination, to play around, to be childlike. I know for myself last year, right, because I have a Virgo rising. So just for my own quick experience here, last year during the Venus retrograde that we experienced in Leo, so that was summer 2023, that summer I just watched loads of Disney movies. I loved it. It was great because it just felt like I was a kid again. So yes, there could be something here about childlike love, welcoming that, embracing that, playing around with these ideas. And then with the opposition to Pluto, there could be something about, okay, your health maybe forcing you, that could be something, right? Your health forcing you to rest, to relax, to take it easy, Or there could be like a work situation that completely transforms you in a way, and then maybe there's greater efficiency, maybe there's greater schedules in place, maybe better timekeeping skills are there. And so you have that opportunity to play and to have fun. And then we come to the final week here of Cancer season. So from the 14th to the rest of the season, sorry, the 15th of July until the rest of the season, Mars, of course, is in Taurus, traveling through your ninth. Mars in Taurus throughout Cancer season is going to be a good way for you to consider, okay, how can I apply what I share to the world, right? What I publish, what I broadcast, how can I apply these things more practically in a more simplified way? I'm constantly trying to do that. I've got a Virgo rising, constantly trying to think about how can I apply this practically? But then I'm also trying to think about how can I simplify this information? But then it doesn't become so simple because I feel like I get into all the details. Trying to learn, but still Mars could be like this energetic, like go ahead, this push, or just take your time. Take your time with it. You'll find your flow. You'll find what works for you. You'll find what works for you when it comes to publications. You'll find what works for you when it comes to delivering your message, sharing, teaching, all of that stuff, mentoring. Just take your time. Mars and Taurus can be really useful to you in this way, I think, to really slow down and take your time. Then Mars will conjunct Uranus toward the end of Cancer season. So that could be like a, oh, okay, great. So I'm finding something that works. It's working. Okay, right. I get it. I understand. Or it could be like a new direction, a new opportunity, another ability to grow or to expand in some way. There could be that self-exploration piece. But again, such matters are like, oh, whoa, I didn't see that coming, right? With Uranus, the unexpected. And then Mars will eventually enter Gemini on the 20th of July. So closing Cancer season in your 10th house. So we notice then the greater push to want to succeed, to want to win, to want to meet your goals when it comes to the career stuff, which, hey, do you know what? We're in Gemini season right now. All the Gemini energy right now. We're already in this. You're in this energy. But Mars will follow that same path and it will be like, okay, time to rush into overdrive. Boom, right? There could just be a greater acceleration of that energy. Honestly, it could get quite chaotic. It could, which is maybe why it's important to just maybe think about how you can rest your mind a bit. But we'll talk more about that perhaps during the Leo season horoscopes, Virgo. Ernest, good night. You say it's 2 a.m. there? Oh, wow. Okay, no problem. Good night to you. Where 2 a.m.? I'm trying to think of where is that in the world? I'm getting all distracted. Okay, so we're moving on to Libra now. 7. Okay. Libra. All right, Libra. So for you, this Cancer season, we have the 2 full moons happening in your 4th house. So we look at these endings, the releasing, reaping rewards to do with what? Okay, family, home, property. And then we have setting new intentions to do with career, your professional life, your mission, your purpose. Oh, there's a lot of indicators here of just the family stuff and how that family stuff is so tied to your purpose in this life, or how support, how care is tied to your purpose in this life, Libra. So yes, with this being said, the beginning of Cancer season, we have the stellium, right? We have the stellium in the 10th. So maybe for many Libras, you're really wanting to think about, okay, what do I want to achieve, right? What is my path? What is my direction? What is my purpose? There's so much about achievement. There's so much about recognition coming up and success. What do you want to be known for, right? And this is the thing, many Libras, they become known for their nurturing, mothering abilities. Like I know I'll just say a quick example. I mean, my mother has a Libra rising. She's also a Cancerian, so her sun is in Cancer too, so it probably adds to this, but she has a Libra rising, and you know, her, her purpose, her life trajectory was about having a family, it was really about having a family, and that's where she finds a lot of meaning and purpose in her life. Naturally, this is not the case for all Libras. I'm not saying that. But it could be something just related to care, right? Care, support, even just related to healing work, right? There could be that with Cancer, or photography, or business. Hey, Cancerian energy is also very business savvy. So, whatever the case, there's just a lot of this influence happening in the 10th house, where it is about recognition, it is about success, and it's also about, feeling like you're successful. It's not just about, being successful, because I suppose being successful means something different to everyone, right? And maybe you get that more than most, Libra, but it's a feeling. It's like, how do you wish to feel successful? How do you wish to feel recognized? So there's a lot of this emotional stuff being intertwined with it, you know. Um, oh, Edyard, hi to you, welcome. And you said, yeah, within home and career would be very welcome. Long overdue on your part. Oh, interesting. So you are feeling this then. And creator, hi creator, welcome to you. Hi, welcome. Yes. So with that, there's more of this influence, I think, for you, Libra, at the beginning of Cancer season. And maybe, there are certain discussions to be had with particular family members. There could even be, like I was saying with the full moons, like the closing of certain chapters. I'm looking forward to talking about the moons in their own videos. But moving on, we've got here Saturn retrograde on the 29th of June, and we've got Neptune retrograde on the 2nd of July, happening in your 6th house. So further adding to the routine stuff, further adding to schedules, time management, stress levels. There's a lot going on for you within a professional sense, Libra, this Cancer season. And I just think that a lot of it's to do with family, whether this be, the family that you grew up in, the family that you go on to have, or whether this be you sort of interacting with other families, right? Social work. Many Libras become social workers, support workers. But anyway, yes, there's a lot of this family stuff coming up for many Libras. And it's quite a serious energy in my view too. It's like, how do you wish to create that longevity? How do you wish to create that structure for you and your loved ones? And there's maybe some serious decisions to be made on your part, on your family's part, during Cancer season. Now, we want to think then about how on the 2nd of July, Mercury will enter Leo, and on the 11th of July, Venus will enter Leo. So there will be those couple of weeks, right, throughout July. So from the 1st of July to the 14th of July, where we have this opposition energy between Leo and Pluto, Aquarius. For you then, Libra, we have Mercury and Venus entering your 11th and then opposing Pluto in the 5th. Here we go. Here we go to possibly the children's stuff. Having another child, having your first child, attending to your own children, thinking about the renewals and the transformations that they go through. Even if we think about this creatively, there could be particular renewals tied to your creativity, tied to your forms of enjoyment, your hobbies, what you love doing, right? These things could very well come up. But maybe it's also these things that have some type of impact upon your friends or the communities that you're a part of, or there could be something about There could be something about your communities that awakens a creative spark within you, or there could be something quite inspirational here up ahead, inspiring others with your words, inspiring others about your path, inspiring them because it's like, this is the path, this is the life that I've led. And, maybe many people want to listen to you, or many people want to take notes from you, right? They feel like, you have valuable information. This could even be where you take on a particular course, or you do some public speaking, or you get your message out there in very creative ways. To me, Libra, you're being seen, you're being recognized in some way for your creative edge, for your enthusiasm, for being warm, for being generous, very, giving, kind, in the spotlight, possibly. But also thinking about those renewals that you could go through. The renewals even to do with your inner child. Okay, so coming toward the end of Cancer season, we will have Mars conjunct Uranus in Taurus. But you see, throughout Cancer season, Mars is traveling through your 8th house. So there's a big focus upon other people's resources, shared resources. You and your partner coming together and thinking about, okay, what are both of our goals? What do we want to build? What is the legacy we want to leave behind? How do we wish to provide for our family? What can we do moving forward here? And there's also big themes here to do with your own sexuality. Sensuality as well, with Taurus. But yeah, there could be sexual related matters that come up that you address in a very direct way, or there could be some slow energy, like the slowing down, slow movement energy, maybe to do with intimacy, to do with emotional bonding, being patient. And then eventually with Mars conjunct Uranus, okay, here we go, a surprise, something unexpected. There could be news, that you didn't recognize before, and it's like, oh wow, okay, that's exciting. And such news could be tied to shared resources, debts, loans, certain payments, or hey, this can even be related to something deeper within yourself, right? An emotional release, something very healing. And then as Mars starts to enter Gemini from the 20th of July, so really coming toward the end of Cancer season, Mars will transit your 9th. So there's perhaps opportunity here for greater travel, greater growth in this regard, maybe even having more of an impulse, feeling more of an impulse, a push to want to learn something new, or to want to further your understanding upon a certain subject, to do more training at work, or to work toward a particular achievement, right? An intellectual achievement, especially with Jupiter being there in the 9th house as well. All right, so that's you, Libra. We're going to move on to Scorpio now. Okay. Scorpio. Actually, hold on. Yeah, okay, Scorpio. So we have for you the two full moons. Thank you very much, Edyard. Thank you. So the 2 full moons in Capricorn are going to happen in your 3rd house. So we're looking here, Scorpio, at releasing, shedding, letting go, reaping rewards, to do with the likes of your neighborhood, right? Your local neighborhood, to do with chit chat, just small talk, and learning, education. And then we notice new intentions, planting new seeds when it comes to possibly long distance travel, possibly further exploration, self-discovery, broadening your horizons, going further afield. And beginning of Cancer season until the end of June, we have this Cancer stellium in your 9th house. Right, so that Cancer stellium in the 9th really it does. It activates so much about your belief systems and your worldviews and your meaning. Many questions about meaning. Perhaps such questions about meaning are tied to family, parenthood, how you care for others, how you support others, thinking about even your relationships on this bigger scale, possibly wanting to travel with your lover, with your partner, with your friend, or having these conversations about certain trips that you want to go on, or being nostalgic. Hey, you could very well go into the past. You could be nostalgic about where you've been, where you've traveled to. These types of things could very well come up. But yeah, there's a lot of nostalgia happening there. But even there could be much emotional support that you want to provide, because it's like you want to pass, right? You want to sort of share, right? You want to share with others, or you want to feel connected on a more collective level with others. There's also room for empathy, I think. There's room for great compassion, and how your very beliefs are linked to that of, okay, be empathetic toward others. Don't take BS from others, of course. No, do not take BS from others. But hold space for people. Be empathetic with people. So there's a lot going on there for you, Scorpio, I think, especially throughout the first week of Cancer season. Now, Saturn will then turn retrograde on the 29th of June. And Neptune will also turn retrograde on the 2nd of July. So these planets are in your 5th. Right. This then is saying that you're going to get an opportunity to reassess where you are creatively, what you've been building creatively, what you've been working on creatively. But it's also a good opportunity for you to even recognize, oh my gosh, how much you've matured within romantic relationships. Oh, Scorpios are owning themselves. Owning. Scorpios are at this point where they're able to really have this identification of, do I need to react to this? No, I don't. There's so much growing up that's been happening for you to do with romance and love, seeing where you are within relationships and then seeing where other people are. And it's like, it's not your responsibility to kind of, it's not your responsibility to sort of be there for the other and to, let's just say, enable any of their actions. But basically, yeah, a lot of maturity has been happening, emotional boundaries, stuff like this for you, Scorpio. And maybe as well, it's just looking at greater desires, right? Greater desires to want to experience pleasure, joy, happiness. Maybe you are, wanting to embrace just more of the things that you like, and you recognize that you want more of that, and that matters to you, and life is too short. Life is just too short. You're like, give me the good things, give me all the good things. So yeah, the retrogrades, I feel, is just going to be another hit of like, time to look at that again. Rachel, you said, yes, you've got Neptune is sitting on your natal moon right now. Ooh, fascinating. So it's going to retrograde on your moon. And then DRNLL, you said you've got a Scorpio moon there and Capricorn sun, Aquarius rising. Very good. And Night Owl, thank you for sharing, Night Owl. Okay. So for you, Scorpio, we also notice how on the 2nd of July, Mercury will enter your 10th. And then on the 11th of July, Venus will enter your 10th. So those weeks throughout Cancer season could be quite notable, quite remarkable, possibly. It's like you're center stage, people are recognizing you, you're in the spotlight. Or it's that you're feeling good. You're feeling good about yourself, and that is really showing. It's glowing out of you. You know, you may be at a point, you know, within your career, within your profession, where it's like, I'm on the upswing, you know, I am succeeding, I'm being recognized. Yes, yes, yes. So there could be some of that going on. But then with Pluto opposite, maybe such matters are sort of transformed via family stuff. It's sort of like saying, well, I'm not going to get dragged into their stuff. No, I'm not going back there. You can't make me go in there. Why would I want to be back with that energy? No, I'm moving forward with my life. I'm not being caught up in the chaos. I'm not being caught up in people's emotional dramas and distress all the time. I'm putting myself first. I'm standing up for what is true for me. So there's a great sense of like overcoming and transforming and doing the thing that maybe other people thought was impossible. What I admire about Scorpio, it's this energy that says, you know, if people try to bring you down, if they try to bring you into their misery pit, you're like, not today. And if people try to say, you can't do that, who do you think you are? Scorpio's able to go, watch me, watch me. If anything, trying to bring down a Scorpio is enough. They can use that basically as like ammunition to make themselves push even harder. So you really lose. That's why you just don't want to mess with Scorpio, because they're going to take that stuff and use it to their benefit anyway. Don't mess with Scorpio. No. So this is what we see. We see you really coming into your power and being recognized, right? Being so confident, being so magnetic and really charismatic throughout Cancer season. And to finish this off, then we have Mars traveling through Taurus throughout Cancer season, of course, in the 7th. So, hey, maybe greater connections when it comes to business, deals, agreements, contracts, stuff like this, slowing it way down when it comes to the types of people you want to work with. You got a good grasp, very good grasp and understanding of who you want to work with, right? You did, Scorpio, throughout Taurus season. So you already know. But Mars is coming along and it's following the same path and it's going, now it's my chart ruler. Now it's time to take charge right now. I'm making those moves. But maybe because Mars is opposite you, you recognize that it's through the other that you make those moves. Oh yeah, value, quality. This to me says, Scorpio, quality over quantity this Cancer season. Of course, Mars will conjunct Uranus, and so there could be some type of a shock, an unexpected change, a surprise through partnership, through relationship. So brace yourself. And then Mars will enter Gemini on the 20th of July, so closing Cancer season, which will happen in your 8th house. So there could be, well, with Mars in the 8th, there could be some sort of push there, like an underlying push, or looking at the unconscious, maybe the unconscious especially, and how that is related to your voice being heard, being listened to. This one I want to say, it's what I'm getting from this. You could feel a greater bite to want to step into that argument, if you will, and that can be coming from an unconscious place. So maybe this is where it's important to recognize that you've come a long way, right? And choose your battles wisely, and don't get involved in the messy mess if you can. People are saying things. There's rumors, secrets, blah blah blah. Just bye. Like I'm not giving it. I'm not giving it to you. Okay, so Sagittarius. Rachel, you said if you mess with the Pisces moon, you get the Scorpio front line. Oh. Yeah, do not mess with Scorpio, no. Okay, or Pisces, or, well, I suppose any sign, I guess, in their own way. Don't mess with an Aquarius. To be fair, as an Aquarius, I'm like, what would I actually do? I would just detach, so you're fine. You're fine with me. I'm joking, okay? It's a joke. Okay, so we're going. Sagittarius. Oh, it's just loading. Okay. All right, so Sagittarius. We're nearly there, everyone. We're nearly there. I'm so glad that I decided just to jump straight into the horoscopes. I think that's just a better way moving forward, and give you a little bit of an introduction, and then we go from there. Okay, so for Sagittarius, this Cancer season, all right. Well, we certainly have a much heavier season for Sagittarius. And what I mean by this is heavier emotionally. And hey, it could also be a good time for healing, a good time to transform emotionally. It could be a good time to nurture yourself, to care for yourself, to pamper yourself, Sagittarius. Maybe you need it. Maybe you need a little bit of TLC. Maybe there is a lot of moods that really fluctuate for you heavily, intensely so this season. And I want to say that, there will be these 2 full moons happening in your second house. So there's a lot of releasing, letting go, and shedding here, to do with your resources, your materials, spending habits, stuff like this. But there's also planting new seeds to do with intimacy, emotional bonding. Then, hey, there could be things to do with family, parenthood, right? Conception, to do with the 8th house. Yeah. And with those planets, so the stellium happening in your 8th house at the beginning of Cancer season. So from the beginning of Cancer season until the end of June, there is a lot going on for you on a more emotional level. It could be, unraveling certain mysteries or secrets, or taking a closer look at, what you need in order to feel secure deep down, or addressing the past. There could be some past situations that come up, or some really heavier triggers and things like that. I suppose that's another thing, which I haven't really mentioned throughout the horoscopes. Again, it's because I would be here a very long time. But the thing about it is, with Venus and the Sun, they will square Chiron during Cancer season. So this is where we're going to see some of the soft spots being triggered for people, the emotional triggers coming up throughout Cancer season. So do keep that in mind. But for you, Sagittarius, I also want to mention that the retrogrades will happen in your 4th house. So we also see more of this influence of the emotional world. So the 29th of June, Saturn will turn retrograde. The 2nd of July, Neptune will turn retrograde in your 4th. Right. This will be then you essentially taking a closer look at anything that's maybe a bit confusing or deceptive or untrue within the family home, having to address certain mysteries that come out, certain information that comes to the surface, quite possibly, or even taking a closer look at the emotional maturity that you have gained, the spiritual perspectives that you have gained with relation to family, in terms of even, how you wish to nurture your family, how you wish to give to them, provide for them, but then also how you can nurture yourself, right? There is a lot of this healing, purifying, cleansing energy going around during Cancer season. For you, Sagittarius, it's going to be happening within these water houses, right? And it's all to do with your emotional body, and just the releasing, the renewals that you're going to experience, the healing and all of that. And what I also want to mention is we notice how on the 2nd of July, Mercury will enter Leo. And then on the 11th of July, Venus will enter Leo in your 9th house. So coming into the first couple of weeks of July, there's a greater sense of adventure, I think, for many Sagittarians. Maybe this is something that you're really craving. You're really craving this, especially if it is that, the first a couple of weeks of Cancer season are so heavy. If it is that there's a lot of that emotional stuff, and with you Sagittarius, you don't like to dwell. You don't like to dwell for too long. You're like, no, I want to move. I want to be free. I don't like this. So yeah, we see some of this movement, this movement coming up, the freedom coming up. But with the oppositions to Pluto retrograde, there could be something about your mindset being involved. Mentally, it's like, I gotta be strong. Mentally, it's like, I need to get through this. And possibly as well, being pushed out of your comfort zone by siblings, by your peers, by your childhood friends, right? By these people that you may know very well, or having these sort of epiphanies and these realizations to do with that growth, the growth of your mindset, the growth of even how you move throughout your local area, and maybe the transitions present there for you too, the sort of transitions you wish to go to, not just on a more expansive level, but on that more local, everyday level. There could be some visions that come up, or some epiphanies, or hopes and wishes for the future that are revisited. And then we notice how coming toward the end of Cancer season, Mars will conjunct Uranus. Right, so throughout Cancer season, we've had, well, for you, Mars will be transiting the 6th. So Mars transiting the 6th for you is great in terms of, okay, consistent scheduling, consistent routine, getting a grasp of, okay, what is valuable, what is meaningful, what's reliable, how can you maybe create some type of consistency where it's not too strenuous, it's not too much, there's room for relaxation, right? You can take breaks when you need to, okay? So that could be quite a slow moving energy for you when it comes to these areas. Even health stuff is going to come up, and you may feel a greater push, greater eagerness to want to attend to your health and to relax, to take it easy when you can. Maybe there will be a great importance related to that stuff because your body might need it. And then when Mars does conjunct Uranus toward the end of Cancer season, that could be like oh, I got this note from the doctor, to maybe go for that checkup, or I got information about my checkup, and I didn't realize that about my body, or maybe there's even something about a sudden realization to do with diet or nutrition or fitness. Oh, I didn't realize that my body can move in that way. Or it could be a possible push to change something on a health level for your own benefit, right? Really for your own benefit, for the future too. And coming toward the end of Cancer season, then Mars will enter Gemini in the 7th for you. So that's going to be on the 20th of July. So to close Cancer season with Mars entering the 7th, that is going to give you, or it'll feel like a push to want to collaborate with others, to want to get together, to work together, to see that there is strength in numbers, that there's strength in, this whole thing of two minds are greater than one. Or it could be that there are new goals in place, right? You have these new goals, these new intentions that you want to set in place to do with partnerships and relationships. But you're also quite logical about the whole situation, right? You really think about, okay, what is the most logical, reasonable thing to do within this? And to even look at the bigger picture, given how Jupiter is also there, your chart ruler is there in the 7th. All right, so moving on to Capricorn. Da-da-da. Capricorn. Okay, so here we see that this Cancer season, there is these two full moons actually happening in your first. Oh, two full moons in your sign, Capricorn. One of which is going to be at 29 degrees, and Pluto is going to retrograde back into that degree throughout July or September. Oh, yes. There's a lot of endings happening for Capricorns, a lot of finalizations this year. It's like Capricorn is coming to terms with just what does not work for them, right? What doesn't work for them? Hello to you not. Thank you for being here. Yeah, and this stuff I say about, this isn't working. It's so much about your purpose. It's so much about your ambitions and your successes and, what you want out of life. I mean, Pluto has been in your sign for so many years, and it's just like, what? But hey, it's also, this has been a good awakening experience for you, because it's also giving you an opportunity to recognize what you do want. You can kind of eliminate, okay, this is not what I want, but you can recognize, okay, this is what I want. This is what I want for my life. This is the next step. This is about the long term. So there's going to be a lot of growth, a lot of shedding happening for you, Capricorn, throughout Cancer season. And then with the new moon happening in your seventh, planting new seeds, right? Planting new seeds to do with partnerships and relationships, so on. And coming into Cancer season, so from the 20th of June, for the rest of June, we have the stellium in your seventh house. So that stellium is going to relate so much to the other. It's like, what are we? What is the direction for us? What do we both want? What about family? What about marriage? What about kids? What about this? What about, or, it could be more so about, I need to put myself first. I need to think about my needs, how I support myself here. Maybe it's a time of you recognizing where you don't align, right? Maybe where you don't align on an emotional level with certain people. Or maybe this is about creating more of this container for softness and gentleness, and being very open, being very vocal about your emotional needs, about your emotional security, right? And how that stuff is gonna, it's gonna matter a lot, because this, of course, this is happening in the seventh house for you, and the sun is there lighting up this energy for you. Be cautious of course, depending on others, the codependency stuff to do with the seventh house. Just be cautious of that, Capricorn. Try and not get lost in other people's views and perspectives. Hold your own as well. But I do think that there is something about union and partnership coming up very strongly. And then we have here that the retrogrades are going to happen in your third. So Neptune retrograde will happen in Pisces from the 2nd of July, and then Saturn retrograde will happen from the 29th of June. So it's time to revisit old conversations. Yeah, it could feel like, we're having this discussion again. Here we go again. Or it could more so be about your own inner voice. This is more so about you connecting with the spiritual, you connecting with your intuition. If it is that you feel at all like there's this pressure to be anywhere or to be at a certain point in your life, which you can feel like that, Capricorn. Capricorn is this sign that can punish itself for not being at a certain level within its life. But here's maybe it's the ironic thing about Capricorn. It's like, Capricorn, you're the sign that it is about later on in life. The things that you seek and the things that you want to achieve, they come later on in life. But that within itself is so difficult. It's difficult to do, especially whenever you're looking at around you and you're thinking, oh, well, this person's successful and this person has this and this person has that, and what I've been working hard and I've been doing this, and why am I not at that point? But that's just not the route for you. That's just not how it's lined up. And just astrologically speaking, right? And I'm just talking about the sign as it is. Of course, I don't know about everybody's individual experience in this, but Capricorn shows up in our charts as it's about the long haul. It's about that commitment, and you're not going to see results overnight. And as irritating as it can be, I think those retrogrades in Pisces throughout Cancer season, it's going to be another reminder. It's more about that voice. You're having this opportunity, Capricorn, to get right with that voice of yours. And what I mean by this is it's that intuition. It's the trust. It's the trust piece. Like, trust, Capricorn, it's going to work out, right? Trust that the next step is going to open up for you. The next path is going to come up. And I know it can feel like it's a wait, and it can feel like, when is it going to turn? When is it going to turn? But it's just, Pisces is the sign of that spiritual insight, that spiritual knowing. And maybe you know yourself, it's like you do feel that connection, that spiritual connection, where you're praying or you're meditating or you're calling for help or advice from God or whatever it is. But yeah, there is that greater push to want to reassess, okay, how can I trust right now? How can I let go right now? And also, how can I recognize how much I've grown emotionally? Recognize that. Recognize how much you have grown spiritually and emotionally. Okay, so let's think about Mercury entering Leo on the 2nd of July and Venus entering Leo on the 11th of July. Okay, this is hot energy. It's steamy. It's desirable. It's pleasurable. With this Leo influence here, with these planets entering, so coming into July, the first couple of weeks of July, there could be a lot happening here on a more psychological level. There could be a lot going on for you, like sexually as well. There could be some type of reawakening, like an awakening of your sexuality. There could be greater play and greater fun that comes out of you, greater spontaneity that comes out of you. There could be this wildness, this just let it go, this kind of influence, right? Where you really just want to do the thing that you love and not necessarily care about the results, if you will. Yes, even just tapping into more of that your creativity, really, and how, your creativity comes out through these like darker themes generally, Capricorn. But there's also mystery to it, right? There's mystery to your creativity. There's mystery to your sexuality. Like, people may have this kind of sense of, who is that, right? But yeah, with these planets in the 8th, there could be more of this energy going on, and how you may even transform with respect to your playfulness, your childlikeness. And then we also notice that a lot of this has to do with self-worth transformations, because Pluto is opposing this influence, this energy. And then even as well, skills and talents transformation, seeing that, hey, you know what, this skill, this talent that I have, it's unique. I'm good at this. This is a good opportunity, this Cancer season, to see, what are you good at? What are you talented at? And to even just indulge in that for a bit. Just to do the thing that you love because you love it. And it doesn't have to be turned into some type of, I don't know, like I want something from this, right? I want a recognition from this, or, I want to be paid for this, whatever. It's whenever you really like tap into, I'm just creating because I want to create. I think this is when you become truly magnetic and truly powerful. And then that's when the rewards and stuff come through anyway. So, so that's the thing. You may not have to try as hard as you think. This is what I'm getting from this energy. Relate that as well to finances, to money, to earnings, because Pluto is in the 2nd house. And relate that as well to shared resources as well, and because of that 2nd, 8th house axis. Okay, so lastly, I want to move on here quickly. We have, from the 15th of July, for the rest of Cancer season, we've got Mars. We've got Mars conjunct Uranus, but we also have Mars traveling through Taurus throughout Cancer season for you. And so you've got Taurus in your 5th house. Oh, there we go. It just relates to what I was just saying. Yeah, Mars and Taurus throughout Cancer season for you, it really is about just do the thing because you love it. The rest will come. And I'm kind of speaking to myself, and I know I don't have a Capricorn rising, but I have a lot of Capricorn energy, and I'm feeling this, right? Do the things because you love it. And this is where you're going to feel relaxed. You're going to feel more secure. Because, hey, Capricorn, let's just put it this way. Capricorn, you need to feel like you have a purpose. If you don't feel like you have a purpose, or if you feel like you have to go and, do something that's just so like, it's so not you, it's so not aligned with your vision and your desires and stuff like this, it can feel like such a drag. It can feel like complete hell for you. You can really have this very like stubborn, no, I'm not doing that. I want to work for myself. I want to be an entrepreneur. I want to start my own business, or I want to enter into this field because that's what I want to do, right? So I think this is the type of energy that's going to welcome this part of you, or help you recognize it, help you recognize that, you know what, you can really motivate yourself in this way. And you're a very ambitious person, very ambitious, especially because there's going to be 2 full moons in your sign throughout Cancer season. Your ambition, it's like, whoa, it's going to be looked at. It's going to be illuminated in a lot of ways. It's going to be so clear. And you could very well get the answers that maybe you've been looking for a while. And the path will open. But again, I think a lot of it has to do with enjoyment, fun. And naturally, because Mars will conjunct Uranus toward the end of Cancer season, that could be like surprise pregnancies, possibly. There could be surprise child-related stuff. There could be surprise creativity stuff. There could be shocks to do with romance and love and all the rest of it. And then, of course, Mars will enter Gemini on the 20th of July. And so we close Cancer season with this goal focus toward your services, your work, multitasking, right? Seeing all the pieces, how things connect together. Co-worker relationships becomes quite a big focus as well, in terms of your ambitions, in terms of what you want and your goals, that stuff. But of course, we'll talk more about that during the Leo season video. Okay, so Aquarius. Okay, Aquarius. All right, we have 2 full moons happening in your 12th house. So there's going to be releasing, shedding and reaping rewards to do with therapeutic stuff, emotional healing, dreams, also sleep. But then we also notice the new moon will happen in Cancer throughout Cancer season. So there will be an opportunity to set new beginnings when it comes to work, when it comes to health, when it comes to your services, right? With Cancer, so much Cancer energy in the 6th house. So beginning of Cancer season until the end of June, with the stellium, we notice that there's going to be more of this emphasis upon support. How can you support others? How can you support your coworkers? How is it that your coworkers support you? I think you truly value that sense of like community and support and empathy when it comes to the work that you do. I mean, it's an interesting one because I do notice this when it comes to many Aquarians. Aquarians often can step into social work, right? There's social work positions, humanitarian positions, working within their communities, right? Getting out into the community and wanting to make a change, right? This is very you, Aquarius. You are about, okay, it's time to make a change, social change, stuff like this. So Cancer season, I feel like, is going to welcome this emotional healing energy for you and for your coworkers, and the type of message that you want to convey, and the type of experiences that you want to share together, and this stuff. It could be quite a unifying energy. It could be a very healing, sort of purifying energy, or you want to feel close, or you feel like, you know what, there is a team dynamic happening and we can all learn from each other. Yeah. But then this could also be related to your own health, your own body, a big focus upon how you can regulate your own emotions. It's so fascinating to think that, Aquarius is often known as being really aloof or detached or like, oh, heartless. But I think Cancer in the sixth sort of shows that Aquarius does have a big heart and they care very, very strongly, very, very deeply about, just being there to support loved ones, being of service in this way to loved ones. But they also recognize that there is a cutoff period and they have to protect their own energy. They have to think about themselves. So this could be an opportunity for you, Aquarius, to think about yourself, right? To think about your health. Now, we also see here that Saturn and Neptune will turn retrograde. So we've got Saturn retrograde on the 29th of June, and then we have Neptune retrograde on the 2nd of July. So this is going to be in the second house for you. Okay, time to revisit the foundations, the structures of your finances, your resources, your materials, your earnings, all of that stuff. It's time to take a closer look. It's time to see what you're giving away. Maybe are you being a little bit too generous? Whenever you get money, are you just giving it all away to other people? And I get it, Aquarius, you can be very charitable, very hospitable. I understand. But maybe this is also saying, hey, do you know what? There's room for healthy limitation. There's room for healthy boundaries here. And I have to recognize when people are taking from me, and then you can adjust accordingly, right? So there's some ability to reassess this stuff within yourself a bit. And that's just really about your own livelihood. I mean, the cost of living is crazy right now. So it's maybe just thinking about, okay, how can you cater toward your own sort of needs there with Cancer, but to also, look at this stuff in a more spiritual view too, in a more realistic view too, with Saturn, to be somewhat realistic and pragmatic as well. Okay, so we have here coming into the first couple of weeks of July, we have the 2nd of July, Mercury will enter Leo, then the 11th of July, Venus will enter Leo. So this influence is going to happen in your 7th house. Interesting. So we have Pluto, of course, in your sign, Aquarius. So I think coming into July, with Venus and Mercury in Leo opposite you, there's greater invite for fun and entertainment and performance. Could be quite a sexy energy, quite a hot energy. There could be room for greater attraction and pleasure, this type of stuff, especially with Venus. Maybe even being more magnetic or wanting more time off, or even thinking about business deals in this way of you're being seen, you're actually being recognized within business. There could be particular contracts or agreements that come up, and it's quite promising, right? It's like financially it's promising, or it's quite tempting. It's quite tempting to maybe enter into that partnership, that unionship. Maybe marriage comes up, marriage related subjects and topics, companionship related subjects and topics come up. Of course, with the opposition to Pluto, there could be something about you that's triggered by this, or there could be something about your own identity, your own goals that influences the business stuff, right? There could be some type of big impact that you make on the lives of others, or it's that, again, there's that trigger. There's that trigger maybe coming from others towards you, and then you feel this strong push to want to change, to want to transform, maybe to take your life on a new sort of trajectory for the time being. There could be some endings. There could be, Aquarius, right? I'm thinking about this for myself, and my son is in Aquarius, and I'm like, it makes me feel sad. But there could be some endings, right? Saying goodbye to certain people. As I like to say, it's not goodbye, it's see you later. But anyway, so yes, there could be some particular relationships that are quite difficult to say goodbye to. But hey, maybe it's also about seeing the lessons and the beauty in those relationships as well, what you learn from them, and how they will be in your heart, this type of stuff. Right, lastly, I want to think about how Mars is conjunct Uranus here at the end of Cancer season. Naturally, Mars will be in Taurus throughout Cancer season, transiting your 4th. With this one, kind of similar that I was saying to, it was Taurus. I was talking to Taurus about this earlier. For you, Aquarius, don't get caught up in the drama. Don't do it, right? It's not your drama to carry. Know your worth, know your value. But we could also look at this through a lens of you're going to be more goal-orientated when it comes to family or when it comes to your house, your living situation. Naturally, it's about slowing down. It's about taking your time, being patient, all of those Taurus things. Consistency is a big part of this. Little by little, simplicity becomes highlighted as well when it comes to property, when it comes to family. And then we see here with the conjunction to Uranus, that is going to be like a wake-up call. That is going to be like, no, I can't believe what I'm hearing, or I can't believe what I'm seeing. Emergency, possibly crisis, with Uranus and Mars, yes. I know with Uranus and Mars for these horoscopes, I've been making it a lot more exciting and maybe a bit more positive, but there is another manifestation to this energy of it's just like pure chaos, accidents, real emergencies, and becoming swept up in, I don't know what to do right now. It's just, it's so chaotic and it's hard to stop in its tracks. If you get caught up in this, breathe. I know Uranus is one of your chart rulers. Just breathe. Just breathe through it. You're going to get through it. If there is anything that's particularly like, when it comes to family and home and stuff like that. Lastly, though, Mars will enter Gemini toward the end of Cancer season. So that's going to transit your 5th house. Already, you've been perhaps indulging a little bit in fun and play, enjoyment, all this stuff. Woohoo! I mean, I've been playing video games recently. I'm like, I've been playing Spyro, been playing Xena. Fun. But Mars coming along at the end of Cancer season, that could add extra fun. But hey, be cautious of too much fun, because it's possible to have too much fun, Aquarius. It is. Okay, so Pisces. Lastly, Pisces. Okay, Pisces. We have here the 2 full moons that are going to happen in your 11th house. So we're seeing here endings, shedding old skin, reaping rewards when it comes to things like being recognized within your groups and teams, being successful, being quite substantial when it comes to your communities and so on. And then we also notice planting new seeds when it comes to things like possibly children. Could be deciding to start a family, could be having another child. Perhaps all of this Cancer energy in your 5th house at the beginning of Cancer season. So beginning of Cancer season until the end of June, this stellium highlights a greater focus upon, okay, it's time to get creative. It's time to focus on, how your emotions are pouring out creatively. I love this about Pisces, because Pisces shows us, that you can be moved. You can really be moved by your emotions in a creative and artistic way. So this could be a great season of inspiration, especially, the first couple of weeks of Cancer season. So much to be said about feeling emotionally inspired and being your dreamy like self, escaping for a while, retreating for a while, especially because the retrogrades will start to happen in your sign. So we've got on the 29th of June, Saturn retrograde in your sign. We have Neptune retrograde on the 2nd of July. So that energy is in your 1st house. So with the kind of 1st, 5th house trines, it's like, time to escape, time to get away for a while. Maybe even having a romantic trip with your lover, with your romantic partner, maybe thinking about, what you can do in terms of pleasure, enjoyment, just let it go. It's this letting go energy for Pisces. I like this. I like this energy for Pisces. It's just this time of sweetness, this time of, we don't have to deal with that right now. Let's just enjoy ourselves. Let's just live in the moment. Let's just be. Let's just be. Indeed. Oh, Love and Light, thank you so much. You said I have to go watch Gemini season next. You missed that one. Okay, nice. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your comment. So yes, Pisces, there's just something here about letting it all go and being in the moment, living for today. And I also think this is a good opportunity for you to, get right with what your art direction is. What is your creative direction? What do you want artistically? Maybe in a leadership sense, because Cancer is a leader after all. Even thinking about being tenacious, being protective when it comes to your creations and your hobbies and so on, your creative projects, what you've made. Okay, so we have here on the 2nd of July, Mercury entering Leo, and then on the 11th of July, Venus entering Leo. So this is going to all happen in your 6th. So the first couple of weeks of July, we have these energies in the 6th for you. Naturally, these energies will oppose the 12th. So a lot is to be said then about being seen when it comes to work. Again, this could be related to the creative vision stuff, how you bring your creative vision and views to the work that you do, to the services you provide. Maybe this is also looking at greater confidence, greater self-assurance, even how you talk to yourself, amongst how you talk to yourself within your working day, throughout your working day. Also, how you communicate with your coworkers. There could be certain conversations that are really exciting. Maybe there's some new information that comes up that's like, oh, wow, I didn't realize that. And then, it could lead to all sorts of, fun connections later on. Maybe even thinking about how Pluto is opposing Leo, there could be like an unconscious drive, an unconscious motivation that comes through. And it's made conscious then, right? There's like a sudden realization, an epiphany that comes through, and it's related to work. It's related to coworker dynamics. And maybe that's enough for you to grow or to change in some way, shape, or form. Maybe as well, health stuff could come up. Having that conversation with the doctor or having that conversation with your loved one, especially if it is that you're quite fearful with Pluto opposite. There could be some fears. There could be even fears that are really irrational. But having that heart-to-heart with your loved ones could be enough to kind of settle your mind a little bit. So yes, health could become a valuable place of focus in a way. But I also think with Venus, there is this attractiveness to you. There is this glow that you give off, especially thinking about how your glow comes out through your services. And people are really inspired by your message. Okay, lastly then, we have Mars conjunct Uranus. So that's going to be toward the end of Cancer season. But I want to say that Mars has been traveling. It will travel through your 3rd house throughout Cancer season. So take your time, trying to implement what you're learning. Slow down and really think about what you want to say before you say it. Or this could be you slowly learning a new skill and really seeing how it can be practically applied. Even thinking about how you get from A to B. Maybe there's some type of, goal there, a goal to do with movement in this way. But again, it's about that consistent pace. It's about being able to take your time through it all. And maybe this even relates to your very mobility, right? Your actual physical ability to move your body. Maybe exercise becomes a bigger focus for you in this regard, right? Getting out more, getting some fresh air, going for walks, getting out to nature, etc., etc. Yeah, and this stuff is very much all within your local area, I just want to say. And then Mars will conjunct Uranus at the end of Cancer season. So there could be some type of news from a sibling or a cousin that really like takes you off guard, or catches you off guard rather. Or it could be that there's a new sort of insight that comes up, and it's enough to make you want to like change your direction or change your path. But again, it's about being slow and sort of steady about it all. Or it could be some type of accident related to vehicles or transport, getting from A to B, with that conjunction. So just be a little bit more cautious perhaps in this way. If there could be something quite like unexpected. Hey, even on that, no, even if you are cautious, the unexpected still gets you. So that's the thing. But whatever the case, the unexpected could come up, and that could be in an exciting way, but it could also be in a really like shocking way. And then Mars will eventually enter Gemini on the 20th of July, entering your 4th house. Yes, this could very well look like you going full steam ahead, like, yes, these are my goals within my house, amongst my family, let's make it happen, having those conversations, forming those connections, let's do it, right? Maybe just motivating others with your words amongst your family members, whatever have you. And hey, I guess the thing about this is with Mars being in Gemini, it can also be that we use our words as ammo. So just be cautious of what's being said. There could be some, like aggressive, like shouting, aggressive words that are said. And you may feel a type of way about it all, but maybe it's just about, just got to step back here, assess the situation. Yeah. Anyway, perhaps we'll talk more about Mars and Gemini in the Leo season horoscopes. But for now, everyone, this has been all of the horoscopes for Cancer season. Good luck during this season. Again, I know it has been pretty early on my part. And I was saying at the very beginning, the reason why it's been quite early is because it's going to be my partner's birthday. My partner's birthday. It's going to be my partner's birthday in a couple of weeks during Cancer season, and just want to enjoy it together, have fun together. So I wanted to get this out nice and early so we can do that. Happy birthday to all of you Cancerians. Thank you so much. Thank you to Love and Light. Good. I'm so glad to hear you're feeling inspired. Of course, I want people to feel good whenever they listen to their horoscopes and they listen along. Yeah, I want you to feel good. Thank you, Ed Yard. And you say, since when? Yeah, there is a Discord whenever you join the Patreon. Yeah, thank you so much, Rachel. Thank you for all of your support. Thanks for being here. Yeah, so just a reminder, if you want to join the Patreon, you can do so. You can gain access to the Discord, to daily forecasts and all the rest of it. And the links are just below in the description box. And I want to say thank you so, so much to my patrons for all of your support. Thank you. And thank you for listening, everyone. Thanks for being here. I hope that you did find your horoscopes to be beneficial. If you would like to book a reading with me, you can do so by going to hannahselsewhere.com. And if you really did enjoy today, no pressure, of course, you can always buy me a coffee, but it's just a thing there. Again, thank you. It's Friday. Have a great weekend, everybody. And I will see you on Sunday. We're going to be doing a Sunday fun day readings live reading session on Sunday. Hope you can join. Have a great weekend, and I will see you all later. Thank you.